All right. Frustrating loss, tough loss. I really appreciate our players, the work that they put in, and they worked hard and did a lot of good things in that game, and got off to the start we wanted to. Just couldn't sustain it, and we did things in this game that we knew we could not do, and that's giving up a punt block or a punt return or a defensive score, and we gave up two. And so I think obviously that's a critical momentum shift when we're moving the ball, playing physical, playing a close game, driving it, and get the sack, fumble, return for a touchdown, and follow it up with a tip pick six. Those are just things that are going to just completely take you right out of the game and game plan in a place like this, and put us in some predictable spots that it's not good for us still. But I think with that, I'll open it up.
Mark, what's your message to Cutter?
Yeah, we're a better football team, and Cutter is a very good quarterback that's going to have a very bright future. That you guys know, when you start on the road, for the first time in the SEC, you're going to go through, take some lumps. We have to be good enough around him and as a team to overcome that, and we weren't tonight. And so, he took some lumps, and there's some things to learn from, but he did some good things as well.
How do you think your team responded when you're in that 28-10 hole?
I thought the guys were fighting. They were trying. We weren't good enough. The bad thing is like certain situations. The execution, whether it be defensively, or offensively, we fell short. When we were trying to make that comeback, we weren't good enough.
What would you tell fans who just don't see much reason to be optimistic about the offense right now?
Yeah, I think I understand the frustration. I really do. I know our team is a good group of guys that work really hard. And we're a better football team. I know it doesn't always show up, and I know that doesn't mean a whole lot. The bottom line is winning, and we're falling short of that, and that's frustrating for all of us.
Defensively, you guys got a lot of pressures, but Sellers had an incredible ability to kind of move around in the pocket. How frustrating was that, getting so close, and maybe he breaks out for a game?
Yeah, he did a couple times there late when we're trying to get him off the field, and he's a tremendous athlete. He has a great knack for that. Just the way he can feel the pressure, the way he eludes it, and then his strength. He's a very good player.
Coach, you talked about not being able to sustain, but can you take any positives from coming out fast?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's not just coming out fast. It's just the execution, the things, the way we were playing. I thought we did some good things. We did. And you can't do the things that I talked about. You cannot let them score off, the punt returns or, any special teams plays or defensive scores, and we gave them two.
Mark, you mentioned. No, go on.
Coach, what's the message to the team when you have so many ranked matchups coming up?
Well, that was the matchup, or the message. Basically, what I told them is the same thing I told you, was that we did a lot of good things. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of their effort. They're want to. They're a good team. They care about each other. We didn't execute in critical moments, and that's on all of us. That's on the coaches, and that's on the players. In critical third downs, critical situations, we have to execute better. That's on all of us.
Mark, what I was asking is, you mentioned kind of letting Cutter take his lumps, and that's a learning experience. How do you balance that with also not letting him take too many lumps and that hurting his confidence?
Well, yeah, I think it's hard, man. This league is unrelenting. That. So I think he has to learn by playing, and he will. He'll take it. He'll take the coaching, and look at things. And it's not all on him. We all can do better.
You felt like the offensive line played tonight.
Yeah.
There were 6 sacks, but maybe Cutter held on to him a few times tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a balance there, because I thought, they really set the precedent with the run game early, and we were physical and able to, really have some pretty good balance in the first half. And, I'm not sure where it was at when it was 10-7 and we're driving when we get the strip sack. And, I thought we were doing some good things to that point. And again, later, on that play in particular, we gave up the sack. I think he was holding it a little bit. We need to look at some things and make sure we can get the ball out of his hands a little quicker, or at least, just protect it at that point. One thing was with the way we were driving it, even if he takes the sack right there, if we punt, the ball and pin him, we were playing pretty good defense at that point as well. And, there's a lot to take from it. But, and I also, didn't like, it was frustrating for us, the third downs. We had our opportunities to get off the field early. When we go down and score and go up 7-0 and let them go down and drive and tie it up at 7-7, that took a little air, a little gas out of us as well. And we got to be better and get those stops.
Mark, seems like obviously Seth was another bright spot tonight the way he played.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good football player. He really is. He was a little banged up through that game and fought through it, but he's a tough player. A lot of our guys really fought through some things tonight, and I do. I really appreciate their effort. I do. We all got to do better.
You talk a lot about making things kind of easy in the past game. You had the big explosive to Willie. Where is there room for growth? I know you can't scheme up guys open all the time.
Yeah.
So how can you still add a little bit of balance?
Yeah, we talked a lot about, starting fast, but we talked about, in a hostile environment, the precision and the execution, and that, wasn't there. Even, later in the game, in the pass game, we get a press, we get a one-on-one, we beat them, and we miss the throw. We just got to make those plays. We have to make those plays. And it's on all of us. Like I said, there's things that we need to do better to make sure we put them in a position to be successful as well, and give them the time, give them the protection. Guys get open, make, contested catches.
Like you said, at the end of the day, the results are all that matter, but you also said you think you're a better team. Why are you confident that you're a better team?
Well, I think, you could look at it and, for us, I mean, I'm with them every day. I definitely know that. I just think we're, I like the way our guys have a great mentality. The guys are playing hard, they're playing tough, they're playing physical. We need to execute better, we need to coach better, and we're all in this together. But I know it could turn at any time, and, listen, nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We just got to get our butts back to work and get back at it and keep the same mentality that the guys have had.
Mark, last year down the stretch, things didn't go well. It seemed like the defense wasn't what it was early in the year. How can you prevent that from sort of snowballing?
Yeah, I think, it's a fine line with developing guys too and bringing them along, and even in that game we're bringing players in and letting them get quality snaps to get better. The more depth we have, I think that can help in a lot of ways as well. And, we just got to keep the mentality and the attitude and the edge with us too.
The SEC losses stacked up. How do you keep confidence that they don't let go of the road?
Yeah, I really trust these guys and their mentality and their attitude. And, and that's what matters to me, is getting back to work. And, we can't look at it like that. We don't have the luxury of looking at, at the schedule and all that stuff. We have to look at it 1 week at a time. And, we had our opportunities in the past, and we had our opportunities through the years. And, for us, it's 1 week at a time.
Mark, what was your vantage point about what happened being the first half there?
Pardon me?
What was your vantage point of what happened there being the first half?
With again, early in the second period, I want to say in the second quarter there, the momentum shift with the fumble. The fumble and then the pick six back to back it's not good.
No, I'm sorry, I was referring mainly kind of the whatever you're going to call it, the teams at the end of the half.
I really didn't see it. It would be negligent of me to call out somebody. I know the officials talked to both sides, and I know they called a penalty on them later. In the second half. And you get up and you're winning and all that. If you're on the wrong side of it, you better just buckle your chin strap, get back in the huddle, and play the next play.
Or did it look like Zach did a little bit more in warm-ups today, but still not a ton?
Yeah. Yeah, he did more. He was, great in his attitude again, and really it's frustrating for him. He's doing everything he can and really tried to get out there this week, and he was close. and he was doing things, and he told me that he was available in an emergency situation, and, you know, but he hadn't had a lot of snaps, and he has not thrown the ball down the field much.
Last one, anybody? All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you all.